Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel Bob Sales This Time's Next Year. And today we've got my great friend Dukkencuvva.
How
All
you
right,
all
mate,
doing?
how you doing?
Good, man. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. How was your holiday?
Pretty wild, to be honest, man. It was good fun. Went away with a mate. It's the first holiday I've really had in about 10 years. I mean, went on holiday once or twice with my daughter, but it's the first time I've got to, really go out and, do the boys stuff. It was awesome. Really needed it, man. 2 weeks in Barcelona. Good fun.
Nice, relaxing. Come back all refreshed.
Something like that. Bit
So-
bruised and broken, wild times,
Bruised and
but, that
broken.
was good.
That's not too bad. What was I going to say? So, before we start, I suppose, we ain't seen you for a little while. So, if you wouldn't just mind going over who you are, of course. I mean, I know you, but
Well, I'm sure a lot of people sort of have seen my tag around. I'm in most of the streams, most of the chats. I don't really do YouTube stuff. I don't have a channel or anything like that. I'm always happy to come on other people's channels when they want to invite me to have a chat. And Bob's a mate, so always happy to get on with him. But I haven't stopped on video. I did take a little pause there for a little while where I was sort of concentrating more on learning how to navigate the crypto world. But I've been sort of coming back into it again recently. Still a full VV head, still buying, still selling, still building my collection. And that's kind of what I've been up to last sort of 6 to 8 months. I've been less quiet. I've been more quiet, sorry. But yeah, I mean, I kind of had to take a break because I was sort of jumping onto that sort of futher side of things. I was always angry with stuff not happening and stuff not working properly, and I was being quite vocal about it until I sort of took a step back, and then came back and I saw all that sort of stuff still passing around on Twitter and everything. I was like, man, do I really sound like that? So look, I'm back on VV, but with a different attitude. I mean,
nice.
it doesn't mean I'm just going to let anything slide just because. But
Well, I was about to say there's a difference between fudding and then actually like when there's things that are supposed to come and that just don't come, and then stuff like that. The delays are just constant, or they
true,
do
and
stupid stuff now and again, like with
it's just
airdrops, or just
yeah,
now and again they do stupid stuff, like
they
just
do.
every so
There's
often.
some stuff that just doesn't make sense. I don't even know why they thought it was a good idea, and nothing specific comes to mind, but I know I've felt that about some of the
Yeah,
decisions they've made in the past. But yeah, it's just really easy to sort of cross that line and fall down the rabbit hole into you owe me something and I want it.
yeah.
And I think that's what I've really sort of come back from.
But what about drops? Did you go for the frozen drop today?
I did, and I've actually had like not bad luck with the wait list. I mean, the majority of them I didn't get selected, but I did get selected for a good 3 or 4 of them so far, and good ones. I hit the SR Stan Lee.
Nice.
Man, that's the
Yeah,
best
I actually
drop
remember
I've
you
hit in
hitting that
years.
one. That was good dollar, that drop as well.
Man, yeah, made a bit of coin on that. I
I hit the
hit
ultra
the
rare
frozen
and
drop
the
today.
uncommon, I think, on that one.
The ultra rare and the uncommon. Yeah, I saw that you had like 4 lined up. I think two of them
Yeah.
were on
I
rebound.
kept the ultra rare, but I have sold the uncommon. I think I sold it for 60 at the
Well,
time.
I actually ended up buying the set. I was like, you know what, this one's a good set to have. I ended up buying it, and then they all doubled, and then I had to sell my ultra rare Dragon Girl to get the gems to go for these latest drops, get a couple of logos and stuff. And I saw that I had the opportunity to sell them all at a profit, huge profit on the SR, obviously,
Yeah.
and get my Dragon Girl back, or hold them and see if they go up. And I made the right choice because they've started to drop.
Yeah.
And the Dragon Girl, well, she's sort of making small moves upwards. And
Yeah.
that's my grail piece, man, the Ultra Rare Dragon Girl.
Yeah, I know you like the Dragon
Oh, man, my
Girls,
Tokidoki collection is my
Mermacornos,
main
what's
collection.
yeah. And what
Yeah,
else do you have?
I'll go
There's
all of
one
them.
more thing I'm trying to think of. Oh,
Ultraman.
a Philly Fantasy. You like the Philly Fantasy
Ah, yeah,
stuff
but I
as
did
well.
sell the season 2s. I've still got the
Oh, did
season
you?
1s. I
Yeah,
sold the
because
season 2s.
no one ever mentions that stuff. And funny enough, someone mentioned it to me on Twitter. I can't remember who it was, but I literally mentioned doing that comment. I was like, my mate actually loves this stuff. I was like, it's nice to
I do.
see someone's actually posted this. I don't really see much of that.
Well, honestly, we'll talk a little bit about the Viviverse, obviously, but I was watching who is it? I think it's one of the guys from Comics and Crypto or somewhere like that. He was with Danny the Bull,
Yeah.
and he was saying that when you got to at the Comic Con, when you got to see the Viviverse in full resolution, see the collectibles in full resolution on the Viviverse. Hang on 2 seconds. What's up, babe?
That's all right.
I was wondering if I could have this up.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Okay, you can take 2. Sorry about that. Yeah, he was saying that the because they can upload the full file size in the actual Viviverse program rather than what we can do on the app where it only loads certain pixels or whatever.
Yeah,
He said the quality was like way better, at least sort of 4K. And the reason I sold those season 2 pillies is because I thought that the quality, like the resolution on it, the pixelation on it was just like really dodgy. So I was like,
that's
yeah, I don't think I'm going to hold on to these.
that's the thing. That's the thing we started to notice with the newer drops. The quality is going up. And
Oh man,
with
massively,
that, some of the
massively.
older drops are getting forgotten. And then not only that, like even the mint sizes, like I used to collect like some of the 60,000 comics, 30,000. I had a
Ah,
stack
yeah,
of like 20 of at one point, and then I sold them all because what's the point of buying them when you can get a 7,500 comic now? It's just
exactly.
madness.
See, that's why I sold all my comics because for me, in my mind, I mean, a lot of people will probably disagree with me on this, but in my mind, if you can't get the comic people in, then there's not a huge future for them. I get that, the comic people who are already in understand the value of these comics and how important they are in the history of the Marvel universe and all that sort of stuff. But if you can't get enough people in that are interested in that,
Yeah.
if you can, then sure, 30,000, 40,000 in a comic run compared to a physical comic run is not that much, man. It's pretty damn small. But if you can't get those comic people in, then, I mean, what does it matter,
And
really?
it's the same with other apps and stuff like that, and other
Yeah.
competition
So
that's
I
starting
don't
to do
hold
it.
any comics, actually.
I mean,
I sold all of them.
Even Marvel's got their own comic reader, isn't they? I think it's like
Yeah, that's not
five,
the same,
six
though. I mean,
dollars
I
a month.
think
It's
that
not
I
the
think that
same, but I mean, you
yeah.
can read every comic on there. For me, I used to love the comics. That used to be my thing. Like I used to. Oh, when I first joined Vivi, I thought that was the real value because obviously you could compare it to something in real life. And I always thought that there would be comic people that come for that. But
And
then,
there might be. I'm not saying that they won't come. I'm
yeah, and
just
there
saying
probably
that,
will be. But at the same time, I've started to collect less comics recently because I've started to notice the comics. If you do want to sell out of something, they're not really shifting anymore. And the secret rares are going down by the minute. And I don't know, a lot of the comics I've brought, a lot of the times when I'm trying to switch out stuff, a lot of the times I try to switch out. And I've always collected the comics more than the collectibles. And not only that, you get less MCP as well, which sucks.
if when we get access to the Viviverse, even to the home space, the first version of it, if we're able to display them like they were posters, I'm going to be buying some comics for sure.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
so many covers.
that's gonna save them.
See
And that's
that's
like
yeah. Go on.
and that's like me. I think I've read 3 of the comics,
Yeah.
and like
Right.
I only buy the comics based on the covers. So if I
Yeah.
pick up anything aftermarket, it's based on the covers, which is normally the ultra rares, I must say, because they're the best covers.
A lot
I,
of them. Yeah.
I
For
don't
sure.
really like the black and white covers. I hate that, and especially when they have the same cover
I
but
don't
in black
understand
and
why they
white.
do that. You got
Yeah,
five
I
rarities.
don't know.
Why not have five different covers? I mean,
100%.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me either. And they know
Yeah,
nobody likes them.
it looks kind of lazy, doesn't it? In my opinion, it's
That's
kind of
weird.
laziness,
Just
like
comes
that
down
bit.
to one of those things we were talking about earlier. Some decisions that they make that just don't make sense to me.
That's why I like the Disney ones because they normally have 5 different covers. I mean, the last Disney one was the worst covers out of all of them so far. So I didn't even go for that one. But the ones before that, they've all been quite good. I mean, they've all gone under retail because they first started out at 10 gems, then they went to 7 gems. So they did change the price halfway through there. But then towards the end, they're still putting out 10,000 mints. And then that last comic, the covers were just dreadful.
Oh, I didn't even look, man.
Yeah,
Didn't even look.
normally I'd have went for that, but not this time. So you
So,
said I was
sorry, go
about to
on.
say, you said you got the frozen drop today.
Yeah, I was about to ask you the same thing. I saw you got the
Uh,
rebound, right?
yeah, I think I've worked out a trick. So
Okay.
no one seems to have noticed. I think VV
You can
Vault
share that
noticed.
with me when you stop recording.
Yeah, it's not that.
No,
Yeah.
no, go on.
Now I think that's all you need to do. Back out the page and go back in.
Yeah, I've tried that a couple of times and it didn't work for me.
Because
So
I seem to every time I get a rebound, I do it that way, and it's like I back out at 3 seconds when the clock's on 3 seconds, and then go back in. And
yeah.
then that normally works.
So you're 2 for 2 on the pencils now. Same.
Yeah, lucky because I was screwing when I missed the drop at first.
Oh, I've got you. It's just I don't think it's
I think my
recording.
screen just turned on a screensaver without me realizing. I was just like, "What the hell just happened?" Like my computer just blew up. So, but yeah, I got the rebound, but yeah, I'm going for the pencils. But when I first missed the first one, I had that scenario going in my head, and I was sitting there thinking, Imagine you get 4 drops, so you get the 4 pencils, and then you need one of them pencils. I mean,
Well, that's
how much are you gonna pay for the pencil? I mean, the pencils I thought were gonna be, like, quite cheap. I thought they were gonna be 30 to 40 gems each, like,
yeah, I don't
eventually.
expect it to be too expensive.
Yeah, but then if you think about it and you put that kind of thought to it where you think, well, imagine that one person needs that one, and then you all kind of thought the same way, maybe it'd raise the value. It won't, but it's a nice way of thinking.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think the pencils are gonna be terribly expensive because I don't think that people well, maybe. I mean, because you don't have to burn the collectible to get the desk. It's only the pencil you gotta burn, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I think people are gonna want those. I'm gonna want them. I wanna complete all of these sets, get all the 5 pencils, and display them all, like, together.
it's well, funny enough, someone mentioned that to me earlier. They were like, I think it was Wes, who said I wanted to have one set to craft and then one set to keep as a set. And I was
Yeah,
like,
so
well,
I'll
funny
probably buy
enough,
2
you'd
of
be
each
able to
pencil,
put them on your desk after, wouldn't you? That's
yeah,
not a bad
thinking
idea,
ahead,
is it? I was like, you'd be able to put them on your desk. And I've
which,
got a funny feeling that desk is gonna change because
yeah, maybe. I mean, they did put that
because
disclaimer in there saying that they could do it,
yeah,
but I don't know. I mean, it looks like the model's built. Even if the desk does get changed, I guess there's already a model built for that desk, so that desk's gonna be somewhere for something.
I mean, you could always stack your items on it, couldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it could do stuff. I mean,
Because like
we're
the
in
desk, because
Arcade's stream today. He was, speculating that maybe you can open, close the drawers, put stuff in there, or
yeah,
who knows?
maybe. Yeah, I do reckon it's gonna change along the lines. That's why I've
Yeah,
gone for
cool.
the pencils because I reckon there's gonna be a surprise along the line somewhere. I mean, it could just be a desk.
I don't know. I think there's got to be more to it than that, personally.
And it's like if you see the one that's sold in real life, it has loads of items on there, loads of collectibles, loads of bits of paper in the drawers and stuff. Because there's a real one that's sold in real life.
Okay, how much you
That's
go
where they
for?
got it from. I think it was. I've got it in one of my videos, so I'd like to be sure, but I'm not sure. I think it might have been. I can't remember. I must admit.
All
I
right, but a
think it
lot, I'm
might have
guessing.
been $1,200.
Oh, that's not
No,
that much, actually.
$12,000. I think it was, or something
That
like
sort
that.
of sounds more
But then I see
what I
another
was expecting.
one earlier on where I think it said it was worth 3,000 to 5,000. I was like, well, that weren't the same article I read. So it might vary on the articles you read. I mean, I do tend to look at 3 articles before I try and get a price out of it. But one
Yeah.
basically sold at auction and it was from the Disney animated studios. They created the first 10 basically classic Disney characters on that desk. So it was worth quite a bit of money.
Okay.
So it
Yeah,
is
and you know what?
actually something that's sold.
I've kind of stopped doing that, and again because of the comics, I've sort of stopped comparing what uh, I think something on VV
Real
is going to
life.
be worth versus what it's worth in the real world. Like, I mean, you take the common dragon girl for example, the pink and the pink one. It's like selling for less than $30 right now. One of them in the real world is $600 if you want to have one, and it just doesn't make any difference really, in my experience. But talking about the thing with the pencils, what do we reckon about these drops they've listed, man?
The
The next
next
the
the
next
next
3 that they've
3 are
listed
the big
are
ones for me.
huge, man.
Yeah. Depends how they
Lion
play
King,
it though.
Peter Pan, and what was the other one?
Aladdin.
Aladdin. Come on.
And it just depends how they play it. Because if we get the new Aladdin film or
Oh,
something,
don't they can't do that
see,
to us. No, 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 no.
if we get something along them lines, we're gonna get
If
that
they do
reaction.
that, I'm selling everything and I'm
Now, if we
deleting
get
the app.
Disney
That's it.
storybook cartoon classic Aladdin,
Ah,
you
it'll
know,
be
we get
that.
the little
It'll be that.
monkey, we get the carpet, maybe Aladdin himself. I mean, Jasmine
Mm.
would be valuable, but we do have like the stencil picture of
I
Jasmine.
want
But
the genie, man. It's Robin Williams. That was actually the first. That was kind of the film that started this whole thing about celebrities doing cartoon voices. Before that, they were all just like random people. And it was when Aladdin released with Robin Williams doing the voice of the genie that all the other studios went, "Holy crap, that's actually a bit of a cash cow." And they started hiring well-known celebrities to do the voice. That was all started by that film.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
Robin
no.
Williams, man. They got to have the genie. They got to have
For
the genie.
me, I think the monkey. I think the monkey.
What's his name?
Yeah. I was
Abu or
trying.
something like that.
That's
I
the
think
one. Yeah,
Abu.
that's what exactly the one. Yeah, the
Yeah,
monkey for me, and then
man,
Lion King. That's major.
man. And Peter Pan, dude, these drops for
Yeah,
these pencils. This is why I want all these sets, man, because these are huge sets. Like I think that today, let's get into this debate
Maybe
about the
maybe you
Elsa.
made a link there, you know. Robin Williams is in
No, I don't think we'll get Robin Williams' voice on there or anything like that.
two
I
of
don't
them
think that'll happen.
films, Peter Pan, Aladdin.
But let's get into the Elsa thing while we're on the subject. Because I was about to say, I think that this drop today is being hugely disrespected. I think that people are underestimating the real value of this set. Frozen, man, I got a 10-year-old girl, and I'm telling you, dude, Frozen is just massive, man. Like it's huge, huge, huge. And I really think that we talked about this in Arcade's stream in the chat a little bit today. That I think that the value of this Anna will at least Elsa, sorry, will at least match the one of the Golden Moment, if not top it over time. I really do think so.
See, I had the same with the Iron Man. I think the Iron Man animated's 10 times better than
I
the
think it will
FA.
as well.
And I think
And
that one's going to top the FA. The only thing is with Elsa, the only difference with Elsa is Elsa has that secret pen on the bottom. And then it's also got a couple of other features like the toe detail and a couple of other little bits, the teeth
I
detail.
didn't
For
know
some
about that.
reason, there's a weird thing where you can zoom in and see teeth in its mouth and stuff like that. And it's got that Walt
Oh
Disney
yeah, I
pen
remember
underneath
that.
on the foot.
Somebody discovered
So
that like a
that's,
year and a half ago or
yeah,
something.
that's one of the special things I would say about that Elsa. Whereas the other Iron Man, like in comparison to the other one, there's nothing special about that one. Whereas Elsa's got its points with the pen and a couple of other bits.
Yeah, maybe that could
But
count for something. But like I said in the chat when somebody said, everybody was sort of against me, including Arcade, going, "Nah, FA's king, FA's king, FA's king." It's like, uh, what I said was that I think a lot of times in the future when we talk about the Iron Man Golden Moment being the FA or the Elsa being the FA or the Homer and Bart, I think a lot of times people describe them as the FA. They'll use the word technically, like they'll
yeah,
say, "Okay, technically that one is the FA, but the first real Iron Man that we got was this
yeah.
one."
Because I
I think
mean,
it'll go that way.
this it's a simple. It comes down to a simple question, doesn't it? What do you think of when you think of Iron Man? Do you think
What do
of
you
a
think?
golden moment statue, or do you think of one flying around with a red and gold suit?
Yeah, no,
It's
I think
that
that
simple, isn't it?
I think that these collectibles that we're getting of these characters now, and like Homer and Bart or Wally when it comes out, I think that they will at least match their golden moment counterpart, especially with the edition sizes. I mean, come on, there's only what
Yeah,
2,500 of these Elsas, 2,000,
yeah,
something like that.
yeah. The
Yeah, no,
golden moments were huge at the time. They had
I,
huge like
I see this set, and I don't see
editions.
Wreck-It Ralph doing big things, but this set and the other three that are coming, I think are going to be massive sets to have for
I
sure.
mean, I liked Wreck-It Ralph. I mean, I
I
must
love
admit,
it, mate.
have you seen the films? The
Oh, 100
films,
times, 100
films.
times.
Yeah, I must admit, I don't have kids or anything, so I got no excuse.
Oh,
But
I
that was
just
one
love
of
those films anyway,
that
man.
was one of the later Disney films where Disney was still on top. Because I mean,
Mhm.
recently we've had the Snow White drama. I don't know whether you've seen any
Dude,
of that
imagine
yet.
if we get that dropped as the FA of Snow White.
Oh no, I'll cry. I swear to God, no one needs to
And
buy
the
it. That
7 magical
film,
creatures or
that
whatever.
film's not going to make any money. I don't think.
That film is dead
I
in the
think
water.
they've literally
Come on.
lost money on that. And
Yeah.
I did actually see an article today about Disney canceling their policy of diversity, but I'm not sure.
Oh,
I
man.
didn't actually look into it too much, but I'm gonna read that again later because that would be a bloody good idea. Because right now
They
I don't
have
know what
to.
they've
They
done,
have
but
to. They're obligated to. They'll
they've
sink
started
themselves.
destroying everything right now,
Yeah.
like film wise. And the last couple ones have lost so much money. So and Snow White and the 7 magical creatures, that's just taking a piss. That's just
That's hilarious,
now you're
man.
killing me with that.
What are we? Oh, yeah. I wanted to. You were talking earlier about the Little Prince coming up.
Oh God. Do you
Le
know about
Petit Prince. It's not the Little Prince. It's Le Petit Prince.
see, I
Why
got
is it in
no
English?
idea. No idea.
Oh, mate, for the French culture, that is like Grail sort of like book, man. Like it's massive, massive, massive IP in the French culture, French community.
So I was gonna do a video, right? And I was gonna do it on the Little Prince, and obviously I've never seen it in my life. I don't know why my screen keeps doing that.
Well, I'd never heard of it before I started living in Switzerland, honestly.
But yeah,
But
I've never heard of it in my life. And then I started to watch a video on it to find out a bit about the story and it. Oh God, it was so boring. Oh God, oh God, I was watching it. I was just like, what is going on? And it was about a guy that lands in the desert, an astronaut maybe lands in the
I don't even
desert,
know the
and then
story, mate.
yeah,
I
so
don't even know this.
apparently
I just know how big it is here.
an astronaut lands in the Sahara Desert somewhere, and then he sees a boy approach him, and then the boy basically says to him, "Can you draw me a sheep?" or something like this. So he draws him a sheep, and then he starts. I don't know. He just thinks there's something special about the boy, and the whole thing is about being lonely, depressed, and it's got all these side
Well, they
meanings
are
to it.
French after all.
And, and it's got all these like side meanings to it, like the story. And then I got 10 minutes in, and I was just like, man, this is so boring. I was just like, I can't even get myself hyped for that. So
Well,
in
man,
the end,
honestly,
I've not even done a video for that one because it was because
oh, to be honest, man, you don't waste your time because, like I said, it's the Frenchies that are going to love this one. But like in
but
French culture,
but
that book is like
it's
every generation for the last 3 generations has grown up reading that book, man. I didn't read it to my girl, but her cousins had that book, and like everybody is mad about that in French culture. So it's
honest.
good. It means they're bringing in new markets.
But it does say it's how many languages? 500? Was it
500
500 or
languages.
50 or
I
something
read.
like that?
I read
I
five.
think
Is
it
there
might have
even
been
500
500.
languages?
Yeah, it's been translated everywhere.
Yeah, it's like some crazy amount of
But I've never heard of
worldwide.
it, never seen it. And then when I started to watch the video, I was just like, no, that's like like I like to do my videos, I like to do the history part first, all right, and then do the
Yeah.
drop. I couldn't even do the history for that one. As soon as I started watching it, it was like a snooze fest. I was just like, this is so boring. I couldn't
So
even
that's
do it
why
to myself. But
that's why I
then
wanted to bring it up because when they announced it, my little gripe was that it says The Little Prince. Why isn't it written Le Petit Prince? I mean,
well,
they've already got French on the no, not French. What do they got? Spanish, Japanese, and German or something like
funny
that.
enough, where is
Maybe
my
French.
phone?
If they're going to start trying to tap into these markets, go for the market that's going to be interested, man.
Funny enough,
And it's called
when
Le Petit Prince.
when I first see the tweet, it weren't in my language.
I was like, oh yeah, no, they did tweet it out in French actually.
Let me see if I
They
can
did tweet it
find
out
it
in
because I
French.
did retweet them both, and then I realized it weren't in my. Yeah, and yeah, I don't know what that says there. I must admit, I don't know if you can read that.
Yeah, it's French. Un adorable conte apprécié depuis des décennies avec plus de 200 millions. Yeah, it's French.
How can you read that?
Because I speak French, bro.
I didn't even know that. Yeah, so they did actually do it in French because that come out first, and then I see the other one after that. And what do you think to the collectible itself?
I think it's pretty ordinary, if I'm honest.
I was just about to say the same thing. It's pretty boring, isn't it?
It's pretty ordinary.
I mean, I wonder if
But
there's more than just that one, but I can't see there being. I think it will
and
just be
again,
that
like I
one.
said, I didn't even know about this book until I came here. I know how big a deal it is for them, but I don't know the characters. I don't know how important that guy is, whether it looks the way it should compared to the way they imagine. These kinds of things that we sort of judge whether a collectible is well done or not. I don't know
Yeah.
all these things about that character. So for me, it's kind of, I don't care, but for them, maybe it's a big deal. I don't know.
I mean, do you think it's the right user base for that?
To be honest, I was really excited when they announced the Little Prince. That's hard for me to say that in English. Like a year and a half ago, a long time ago. But it's the reason I was excited about it is because it was at a time when they were sort of talking about new verticals and everything, and they said they did talk about books. So when they talked about the Little Prince, when they were having that discussion, I really thought that we were going to get the book. I'm
Yeah.
pretty gutted that it's just a collectible, man. I want the book.
To be fair, I think I've seen quite a few people say that they'd
Yeah.
preferred the
Now
book than the
that
collectible, to be
that I
honest.
would like dive into for sure because that one, the first appearance of the story of the Little Prince on the blockchain, that would be huge for real. But this
Yeah, I think
collectible,
I
not
think I'm
interested.
staying out of this one. I
Yeah,
must
yeah,
admit.
I'm going to give it a miss. I think.
The
Although you
Lion
know what,
King.
for me, it could be a good one to have because given that I live in the French part of Switzerland, it is something that I could actually show to people here instead of Iron Man, where they go, I don't care. If you show them Le Petit Prince, they'll go, oh shit, I can get that. All right. Well, I mean, there was the update, the community update. That was
Oh yeah.
fun.
Yeah, it wasn't the best again.
Well, there
Couple
was
of
the thing about
updates on the app.
the new wait list, and
the
It
rebounds.
was just kind of the same stuff, you know, where we're dedicated to getting this finished and we're doing this and we're working on this. And there wasn't whole lot of here's where we're at,
Yeah, no
you know.
Omi announcement. A lot of people
Nothing
pissed
on
about
Omi.
that.
Oh man. I was watching
A lot
Patient
of
Hodler's video this morning. Yeah, nappy.
a lot of people pissed about that. I must
Yeah.
admit.
And I don't blame him, man. I mean, come on, give us an update on that. And like there's other stuff that didn't get touched on, like this is what I'm looking forward to. I don't know if you know there's the Vivi Venture podcast with Will May. And
No idea.
he's been putting out the feelers. A couple of weeks ago, he's in the Facebook group and on Twitter he was asking the community to put forward questions because he's got David coming on for an AMA pretty soon.
Right.
He hasn't given us a date yet, but it's all set up. He took questions from the community, and so we might get some questions answered, hopefully. But they didn't touch on most of the stuff that people want to know about. You know, like some things I want to know about. I want to know I still haven't got an answer for these bloody Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickeys. I mean, that
Oh
dropped
yeah,
like
that's
last
true.
September, and they're still sitting
Well,
in their wallet. The ones that
that
are
just
supposed to be
rem-
burned. What's going on with that?
that just reminded me of my little spur this week about the
Yeah, what's that?
pencils. The pencils. So the drop happened. I'm like, where's my pencil?
Yeah,
No one answers me.
yeah.
Second day
Well,
comes, I'm like, where's my pencil? No one answers. The next day, I'm politely like, look, can you tell me about like when the pencil's going to get airdropped? And it didn't say in the article at the time. And then I was just like, when are we going to get it? Like, we've all brought based on this. And I know some people probably brought to sell the pencil instantly. And now it was looking like, well, maybe you're not going to get a pencil till Christmas. You don't know. It
yeah,
might just end up that way. And
yeah.
I just wanted an answer. And every time I was just ignored. All I'm asking is a simple question. I brought a drop. Where is the second part of
Yeah.
it? And the next minute, I get someone on my Twitter feed say, I don't know why you're moaning about this Mother Teresa or something like this, right?
Ah,
And then
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like, you
yeah.
should
There's always
learn
those
to
ones.
read, right? And then pulled up the drop article for Wreck-It Ralph. And lo and behold, the date's in
Ah,
there
they
for the
changed
pencil.
it.
And I was like, I was like, now you're taking a piss because I was like, you've not made no announcement, no nothing. And now some guy's telling me I'm stupid and I haven't learned to read. So I
Yeah.
had to tell the guy, go back to my video and watch it. It was 100% not there because I made a point of saying it. And they
But the thing
didn't,
for me
it
with
didn't
this,
announce it to anyone. They just quietly put it back in the
yeah,
article.
yeah,
I
they
was just
something.
like,
I
come
found
on.
out about it from some guy reposting it on Twitter or whatever. But the thing with this Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey, it's not even like I've got two of those, fine, but I bought them for cheap. You know, I don't expect them to ever really do that much, but that's not the problem. The thing is that, you know, in the article when they dropped it, it was clearly stated that all unredeemed
But
editions of Mickey would be burned, and they still haven't been. It was about 2 3 months ago. I asked Omi Daily Burn to have a look. They were still in VV's wallet. Now, there's got to be a reason that they haven't been burned yet, and I think it'd be good if we could know what it is. I mean, is there a problem with Disney? Do they not want to do it? I mean, are you going to burn them? If you are going to burn them, when? It's really more a question of I'm not really interested in lowering the editions. I just want to know why something that
why
they
didn't it
said was going to be
happen?
done didn't get done. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
I've been
no, I
trying. I've
feel
been
that.
asked them. I've asked them all. Well, only Alex G directly because the only one I've got like following me on Twitter, and I got on a Spaces once and asked him that. But I've tagged them in it and all that, and I've never got an answer as to what's going on with that. So
I'll
I don't
have
know. I
to
was
ask.
hoping to I've got questions for the AMA anyway. I gave them all to Will May. I mean, he took people's questions. He's going to choose the ones he thinks are the most relevant to get
Yeah.
answered. I want to know about the logo utility.
If there's
There's
going to
got to
be
be something
any.
coming. There's got to
I,
be
s-
something
I
for that.
sold one of mine, didn't I? My yellow one, because it
There's
pumped to
got to
like
be something.
150, I think, and then I sold it, and then what's it on now? Do you know?
I had a look earlier. I think it was about 130, 140, something like that. The
Oh,
orange
it's
one.
gone back up then, because I
Yeah,
sold it, and then it dropped to like 100 the same day. I was like, yes,
yeah.
so I made the right move for a change. Oh, I made a dreadful move the other day though. I
What's that?
brought the bloody Avengers comic, didn't I? You know the 1,000 mint one.
Oh, right.
I think I paid $130 for it. Next minute, it's like 78 quid now.
Yeah. That's the way it
So
goes, man.
that
I haven't
one
been
didn't
putting
pay
money
off.
in lately. I haven't been putting money in lately. I've just like if I can get a good flip, I'll get spare gems, and I might go for a drop where I'll make a profit. Sometimes I get lucky, like I did with Stan Lee, that allowed me to go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff that I wanted. And I've been stacking some stuff. I'm stacking the hell out of those red metallic Doc Ox.
They're horrible. I don't know why.
Mate,
Where are the rest of the red ones?
it's the ultimate speculation, man.
That was one of the other things, wasn't it? They said about more red ones coming. Where are they?
Well, it's written in the description of the red Doc Ock. It says right there that it's a series of red metallics. They'll come eventually, man.
I
Hey,
tell you
just
what,
keep listing them, folks. Anything under 30, I'm buying it instantly. So if you got one, you want to put it for 29, I'll take it.
I think mine's. I'm still looking at Chucky's. I must admit, because Chucky's. I think the ultra rare's still on 22 gems, 25 gems. The secret rare posters on 24 gems.
That's a monthly,
Commons
man.
on 6 or 7 gems. I mean, you could take that thing in and out of the box, man. I thought that was pretty unique.
Yeah, it's just, we just need more user count, man.
The last couple of months, market's picked up ever since, I would say, Luke. It started
I've
to
seen
pick
I've
up
seen
on
some movement to
certain
the upside.
items. Yeah.
And I figured it might just be because of Viviverse, and it could still be because, I mean, we do at least have some limited testers in the Viviverse. Maybe they're in the market buying stuff up to test in the thing. Other people are getting excited about the Viviverse maybe coming. I don't know exactly. But that brings me to the question. We saw the figures that there were an extra, what was it, 20% active wallets in the last month.
Yeah.
What are we thinking about that?
Well, it's a good sign. I mean, it just means more interest coming back. But then at the same time, did they ever start it where you don't have to KYC for drops now? Is that in place now, or
Well, the way I understood it
they did say
from
it,
the
but
AMA, from the community update, was that you have to be KYC to go for the initial drop, but then the rebound is open to non-KYC people. That's the way I understood it.
because I'm not sure if they've
Um,
even started, because they did say they were starting it, but obviously we're all KYC, so we wouldn't have a clue, would we?
no, and I don't know if it's like cut off to non-KYC people. I think it's just KYC people who get priority. But I mean, if it's a low edition drop, that basically means if you're not KYC'd, you ain't getting one. So it's kind of the
Yeah.
same thing, really.
I mean, waitlist has been hit and miss for me. I mean, big
Yeah, it's not been working great.
drops. I can never seem to land, but I've been doing all right. And like mint wise as well, I've been hitting like good mints nearly every time, pretty much. Apart from yesterday, a really bad day yesterday. And then the frozen mint I got today was just a terrible mint as well. I flipped that, took an instant 5 gem loss just so
I
I
hit
could pay.
Olaf.
I mean, I took that as a 5 gem, like as I paid 5 gems for the pencil, pretty much.
Well, yeah,
Because
exactly.
a frozen drop, like for me, I'm not really interested in frozen. I know it's a big thing, but for me, it's not something I want to hold on to. And then I think that's why Veve didn't make Elsa animated as well. I think because they didn't want to affect the FA like they did with the Iron Man. Because with the Iron Man, I think that definitely helped it.
Well, not only that, in my mind, like Olaf was always just like the obvious choice for the animated one. I'm just glad that they made the animated one the ultra rare this time instead of the rare, common, or
Yeah.
whatever it is they normally do. But no, if there was going to be an animated one out of the three, I knew it would be Olaf. Like that was just a no-brainer
Well, he
for me.
seems to be the most popular.
Well,
If you see
that's
the
a thing,
teddies
man.
and merchandise and stuff, that seems to be. If you see a little kid carrying a teddy, it's normally an Olaf toy. It's not.
Olaf is a huge character for kids. This is FA Olaf.
But then even
Look,
I even remember the Disney. I even remember the Princess first Elsa dolls coming out actually, and like that Christmas, you couldn't pick it. You couldn't pick them up. Like
no,
they were just
I
sold out
mean,
everywhere, and then
you're
people started
mad.
making knockoffs, and they were selling the knockoffs, and then that was a whole thing.
And not only that, I'm pretty sure there's a new one coming out this year, a third Frozen film.
I'm pretty sure there might be.
I think there
So
is.
that's one of the other things that just reminded me, right? So with Frozen being in the snow and everything else, and we know the rest of these drops are going to lead up to Christmas, right? Why didn't they do it last? So we're going to have the hot one, which is Aladdin, if they do it in the same order at Christmas, rather than the snowy one, which probably would have been better at Christmas because then more people would have been, playing with it in the snow and etc.
That's an interesting thought. I hadn't thought about that.
It's
Yeah,
weird,
it's
right?
funny that I didn't think about that because I was actually just thinking yesterday that, man, I live in the perfect place when it
Yeah.
gets colder again that I can go out into the mountains and like get some cool AR pics with my Monster Hunter dragons, up in the Alps, in the middle of the snow, in the middle of the mountains, chuck that in there.
I've still got my Monster Hunter dragons and all still.
Yeah, I want to get the other one too.
I sold my chicken one, the one that looks like a chicken.
I want to buy that back. I had the Ultra Rare, but I want to buy that set back. I think that they're I heard somewhere the other day. Now I don't know if this is true. It's just something I saw in a video that Pikachu was modeled off of that Monster Hunter monster. Like
I have
the idea for
no idea.
Pikachu came from that. I saw that on a video. Don't quote me
I
on that because
must
I just.
admit, I've never looked into the origins of Pokemon.
But
I know
apparently, the
that
design of Pikachu was inspired by that monster, the
I
chicken
know
one.
there was another program before Pokemon, which was basically Pokemon, but Japanese. But I'm
Hey,
trying to think
we
what it
haven't
was
talked about
called.
Astro Boy. We haven't talked about Astro Boy.
Oh God, what an awful drop!
Dollar
You
store
like
Astro
Astro
Boy.
Boy, right?
Oh mate, I was obsessed with it when I was a kid. I grew up with Astro Boy. I feel so hard done by that they put out this water squirting little whatever it is as the FA of Astro Boy. What the nah, not having it.
See, I had a feeling it was a good FA, but then at the same
Nah,
time, I'm English and
I ain't touching
I
it.
have never seen Astro. Like, if we've seen an Astro Boy, it's as a toy form or on a T-shirt or something, not something I'd recognise my end. I must
Yeah.
admit. And then when I see the drop, I was like, a bit random. And then the quality of the drop itself was not very good. And then why have an animated again with no sound? You're killing me. It's
Oh
like having
yeah.
a caravan
No,
with no
no. That's
wheels.
silly. Yeah, exactly.
It is, right?
What a
Crazy.
caravan with no wheels for.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, I've used that for an ending once. I know I have. I think that was Lambos with no engines.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. But I mean, this is why I've stopped to putting so much weight on the FA because I'm telling you now, man. For me, like I don't care. You can put as many letters in front of that number as you want. That is not the first appearance of Astro Boy on the blockchain. It's not Astro Boy. It's just not.
it's like
It could have the FA tag. I don't care. It's not the first one. When
because
you bring
me,
out the
me,
real one, that's the first one.
me and the superstars had that argument about the Iron Man. I was just like, it's just too obvious. It's going to take over the other one.
I think so too. I think it will.
So,
Take it. Maybe it won't, but it's going to at least match it for sure
so
in terms of value.
talking about FAs, so the argument come up again this week that the Todd McFarlane
Oh, the
is
McFarlane
not
thing.
the
Yeah.
FA again, even though VV had been in the business like 4 years. So like it's impossible for it not to be the FA at this point. And then not a new company, but McFarlane have released their version of Batman and everything. And then they're saying, well, this is the first one that's actually designed by Todd, the first one endorsed by Todd, and it's endorsed by DC, whereas DC Direct technically isn't DC, technically isn't McFarlane. So technically that makes the McFarlane one the first.
Well,
What a load of horse shit.
what I think is that everybody is right. Everybody is correct. It is the first, proper Todd McFarlane one done by Todd McFarlane himself, and all of that. But it's not the first licensed Batman on the
Yeah,
blockchain. All right.
100,000,000%.
So
And it's
they're
like,
both the first in their own right. But if you're looking to settle the argument of which one is the first licensed Batman on the blockchain, well, I mean, it doesn't take a genius, does it?
I mean, just knowing which company come first and when the drops were. I mean, that just common sense, you know. If you see it around that time, you know it's first. I mean, it's common
Yeah.
sense, right? But then it's like we had the argument that DC Direct. I mean, DC Direct. So I actually had a look into the company DC Direct just to
Okay.
prove my point at the time, right? And obviously, DC Direct was obviously called DC at one point. It was
Hmm.
part of DC, right? So that's already squashed that. That's already DC all the way through. I mean, it's got DC in a bloody name for crying out loud. Can't get
It's
how
DC,
more
man.
DC can you get, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously they're saying about it's not linked to Todd McFarlane and everything else, not linked to his company. Well, they did actually work with them on it. And then I think it was yesterday. I think Todd was doing I don't know whether it was at a Comic-Con event or something like that, but I am actually subscribed to the toy channel. So I normally
Right.
see his toy updates on YouTube come out, right? So I was watching one of these toy interviews and basically the DC stuff come up, the DC Direct stuff come up, and he was saying, yeah, well, this is my design. This is, officially DC and it literally just killed it right there. It was just like, look, the guys just told you right there. And they come up with DC Direct, and then straight after that, the next logo was McFarlane Toys. And it was like, you couldn't have it any more clearer than that video there that is endorsed by both, you know?
When he did that art, that was the basis of the statue we have on Vivi. When he designed that, he allowed them to license it. And I mean, he did that for DC, didn't he? I mean, Batman is
Yes.
a DC character, right? So ultimately, I mean, he might have done the art for us. I mean, fine, take the Todd McFarlane Batman that we have on Vivi, and take the Todd McFarlane name off it, all right, and just call it the Batman number whatever, would we even be having this discussion? If Todd put
Yeah.
out his own art, would we really even be pitting them up against each other? We wouldn't, right? It's
I-
only because it's got that word, those two words there, Todd McFarlane. Otherwise, it would be just straight up accepted that this was the first licensed Batman on the blockchain,
yeah.
right? I mean, it's just being pedantic after that, in my mind.
If you've licensed something out, that then means you've given permission. You've given,
That's right.
it's not
Maybe
like,
he didn't give them permission to like market it with his name on it or something like that. But at the end of the day, they have the right to make it. It is licensed. It's done by the company who created the character in the first place. I don't see how you can delegitimize it.
so did you see the Bane drop yesterday on McFarlane?
No, I don't take any notice of it, man. After I tried to go for that Batman drop, I'm done with McFarlane. Man.
So yesterday the Bane drop happened, and then today it's under retail. And
I
obviously
saw people posting about
no
that.
one's
Yeah,
really said much about it. And then obviously on veve, you get so many people say, well, this drop's just happened, it goes under retail.
Mhm.
So it did go under retail. I mean, the
And to
Bane
be
one
honest, I wasn't
wasn't that
impressed with the
great.
quality of it. The pictures I saw
Yeah.
of it, I thought, oh man, that looks pretty average. If that dropped on veve, people would be there with pitchforks and
I mean,
torches.
it's like the Batman car. The quality on the Batman car was wicked. I mean, I like the Batman car, but I'll wait for one I can drive in the veve-verse or like
Has that
on the
already dropped,
AR
the
thing.
Batmobile?
I don't think it's dropped yet. I'm not sure, but I remember seeing the advert for it. So
Yeah, but I saw the advert for the Superman too. But then when I saw the actual NFT, I was like, what the hell is that?
well, what's the
So
one
let's wait
they've
and
got
see.
that's like the blue and red? They've got something like blue and red, a character
Yeah, it's the
blue and red
Superman.
at the minute. Yeah, that's awful. That
Bloody
is
awful.
absolutely awful. I see that, and that is awful.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty underwhelmed by it. And, look, after I've never bought NFTs outside of veve. They're the only NFTs I've ever bought. I've got some NFTs, but they all came from either Kid Arcade or my collectibles that I won off them and they transferred it to my wallet and all that. I've never gone onto OpenSea or any of these other platforms to buy NFTs. And my experience doing that with McFarlane, who's talking about their competition for veve? Forget it.
It's
Nobody's doing that.
yeah, it's
Now, the day
definitely not.
McFarlane comes out with an app like the veve app, yeah,
Yeah,
then they're gonna, really be a horse in the race, right?
accessible to
But I
everything.
am
Yeah,
not doing that again. I got to go sell. We're going to go buy crypto, then transfer that into Ethereum, into Matic. Sorry, then you got to get a web wallet, which all of which I've got already. But then I couldn't even find where the drop was happening on the site. There was no countdown. There was nothing there to indicate when. Honestly, on the McFarlane Digital's page, there was nothing at all about that Batman drop even coming
yeah.
up, and like 2 days before. And no, it was just a nightmare. Nobody's doing
Well,
that, man.
I tried to use the site once and I couldn't use it. I don't know whether that was my laptop at the time or not, but I literally could not get through it. And then I think it was Superstar Joe showed me his version and it was running around nice and smooth. And I was like, well, there's got to be something wrong here. It's got to either be my internet or the connection.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had a great experience with them customer service wise. Because I mean,
With McFarlane?
I did go through all that trouble of trying to get the NFT, the first Spawn NFT.
Oh yeah, well you sent it to the veve wallet.
Yeah, but I had to do all that, didn't I? And I had to get the superstars to then get the toys, and it was just a right mare. And then that to change the name for it, and then they tried to help me with the digital side because I sent it to veve. And yeah, I mean, there couldn't have been any better. Like they couldn't have tried to help anymore. Even the parcel guy, like the post office guy, wouldn't give it to Superstar Joe because it had Superstar Bob Sale written on the parcel,
Ah,
written on the parcel. So because of
yeah.
that, obviously he's like, well, it don't match your ID, does it? He's like, well, of course it don't, you plank. And then each day he was going there, the more and more pissed off he was getting. It was quite funny. It was quite funny. And I've still not got them toys yet. I've still not got them
That's
delivered yet.
hilarious.
It keeps getting to each month. He's like, do you want them delivered this month? I was like, oh, bit broke this month. I'll do it next month. And it just keeps. And it's like I went into London the other day, right? And I see all the same McFarlane toys that are at that house, and they're all 15 quid, 20 quid. And the ones I paid for were like, I think they were like £200 at the time
Oof,
for the toys I got. And I
damn.
only got a few. And it's like, even in the toys. So I think it was Superstar Joe opened the toys and there's a letter inside, right? I was going to obviously show it when I got the toys, but there's a letter inside basically saying we've damaged one of your toys. So because the box is a bit damaged, we've added a new toy in here. And it's like a damaged toy, but like the box is damaged, but the toy's fine sort of thing.
Yeah, right.
So, and then I thought, well, you can't really argue with that, can I? But quite funny still.
for
But it's
sure.
like I've got HRO cards as well,
Oh, I mean, I'm not into any of that
and
stuff.
whereas I was into that the first month or two, and then I just let all that stuff die. And then they started the crafting stuff, and their crafting mechanisms have been great because, like, they've only ever had, I think, like 2,000 to 5,000 active wallets. I think the last time I looked, it was 2,000,
Is that
and that
all? Because I
and that
hear everybody talking
and,
about that.
and that was a while ago. It was a while ago I checked, but I think it was literally 2,000 active wallets or something like that. So I remember checking the data and thinking,
Well,
wow, that's very low. But the crafting did then start to pick up the markets.
I
It
gotta say
has
though,
actually
I never
helped.
really saw much of a future for. Oh, but that's just me because I'm not like into comic books and all that sort of stuff. Maybe people from the comic world will see this differently, but for me, I didn't really see much of the appeal with HRO and back cows and all that sort of stuff. And I
I've
never really sort of expected it to go really that far. But going back to McFarlane, I do expect them to do big things, and I do expect them to. I think they're going to discover pretty quickly the same sort of problems that Vivi has run into over the last 2 years.
Yeah,
And but I do think that they'll sort of work through all of that
and
the
it's
same
got to
way
take them
Vivi
a
has
while to
started to.
build all the
It's
way
going to
through
take
that.
time. They're going to run into problems that they didn't realize would be barriers. But I wish them well, man, because if a company like that, I mean, already just the fact that there was more hype about the fact that this was going to be interoperable than there
Yeah,
was about the fact that it was a Todd Batman. That was really the big deal from the VV community was that this is interoperable.
yeah. Because I mean, every card at one point was $1. Like every card, whether it's an epic, like it was $1. Uncommon, common, $1.
But don't they tend to like print more to try and keep the prices down? Do they
That
not do that with NFTs? I know
that
they
was
do
the
that
other
with
thing.
physical cards.
They have a lot of additions,
Yeah,
especially on the physical cards. I
yeah.
mean, I like that side of it because I thought that was pretty cool the way you could have the NFT and the physical side.
So
But
every
then,
time they print new physical cards, does that mean they're going to mint an NFT to go with it, or does the edition size not
yeah, it
change?
comes with your card. So the actual card you receive is your NFT you get.
Ah, okay. So as they print more cards, more NFTs will be minted as
Yeah,
well.
but they normally start a new series each time, like a different
Ah,
chapter
okay. All right. And
to
that's going to
keep
make
it
the older
like,
ones more valuable with time and all
yeah.
that. Yeah, okay.
And then they've started crafting where you got to burn certain stuff to make a certain card and stuff like that. It's pretty
Ah,
cool, but then at the same
interesting.
time, it's keeping it level, but not really doing much, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then it's like back cows at the minute. Like, I've never believed in the back cows, which is why you've never heard of it on my channel because I don't believe in the back cows. I've never believed in the back cows. Now, I did buy some of the DC comics, but then I even made a video about a month or two ago, basically saying that I've stopped buying them because they're worthless at this point.
Yeah, but they're beautiful. I saw OG Vault's comic that he got the other day with Supergirl on the front. That
Yeah.
is an absolutely stunning cover, man. That's gorgeous.
Remember when they first started with the torn ones? They don't seem to do that anymore.
Oh,
You
yeah, yeah, yeah. The
that seemed to have died out along the way
photocopied
somewhere.
Supermans and all that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, you don't really see that anymore with the ripped pages and all that. You don't really see that
yeah.
anymore, which
I
I'm
think they
glad
learned
for
pretty
because
quick
that
that that
was,
wasn't the way.
yeah, because when you had a portfolio and you're looking through it and they're all ripped pages, and I mean, it looks terrible. I must admit, I've got 3 or 4 and they don't look very good. Like when I'd rather have VV ones to look at all nice and clean.
I
I
bet
mean, I just would.
David you breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that happen because I remember a long time ago he was talking about
Yeah,
the comics degrading. The more times you read them, they'll start to deteriorate and all that.
yeah,
And
and
we
that,
all went, hang on a minute. I
yeah,
just
I did. I
paid for
know.
that, bro.
Yeah, the worst thing was if that happened, you'd never read the comic again.
Exactly. And what's the
You'd
point of
feel
it
like
after
you
that?
couldn't read it because you're
So
devaluing
they
it.
abandoned that idea, and I think that
Paid
whole
off.
scandal with the DC comics, they found some validation there. I think
Yeah.
they haven't
Well,
cancelled those plans.
it's like at the minute that seems to be just going downhill. Back cows are now 300 floor.
But it all is, man. It all is. But I think that I really do still think that Vivi is going to be the front runner when the
That's
NFT boom comes.
that's the thing. It's like VV went through the bear market for 2 years, and yet we're still here. Whereas I'm not sure some of these other companies, if they went through the same cycle VV went through at the time, I'm not sure they would make it out the other end.
And I mean, look at what Vivi. I mean, this is why when I released my song, right, the Vivi track I put out, And I kept saying to everybody, it's not finished. It's still not finished. But I had to get it out, right? I had to get it out because I could see that the tide was turning. And I was quite critical about Vivi in the second part of that track. And for that track to still remain relevant, I had to get it out before stuff started rolling out, and I could see it coming. And since I put out the track, they've been rolling. They've been making all these new partnerships with Alibaba, with what is it, Veve or whatever they're called, the
Yeah,
AI company.
I still ain't have a look. I still ain't had a look into that one yet.
I did. Well, I watched a video from Vivi Investments, which is a channel you definitely need to be subscribed to if
Yeah,
you're
I
not
know who you
already.
mean. I think.
Vivi
Yeah,
Investments does amazing videos on Vivi all the time. And this company looks like it's a big deal. Like they do some seriously high end stuff. And we got those partnerships. We got the MCP sort of at least starting to roll out in some capacity. We got the waitlist system. We see them rolling out new languages. And like, how long ago did I release my track? It wasn't that long ago. And all of
yeah.
that stuff has come after that. It's
Well, funny
really starting to
enough, they
gain
definitely
momentum.
do watch. They watch everything you say. Now, I
Yeah,
must admit, they definitely do watch.
there's
They
some
seem to
real
have
momentum
like
building
their
right now.
fingers on the pulses
Yeah,
about
that's why.
everyone, what everyone says and stuff.
So I mean, like I said, like it's even in the description on on YouTube on under my track. It says, I'm just, speaking both sides of the fence during season 5. This is what was going on, and I make no apologies for the stuff I say. Still a very bullish song,
That's a
but
good song. Yeah, no,
look,
there's
they
nothing wrong with it.
deserve
I
the
was going to
flack.
use it as my theme song at one point.
They deserve the flack they cop in season 5. They just did, but now they're starting to really get stuff done. We're really starting to see the results,
Yeah,
and
even the crafting. I mean, that's the third lot
man,
now. That's going to be
huge.
the third crafting. I mean, the
Yeah, but they
first
get
one was major. The
because
second
people are
one with
already getting
booze.
bored.
The
People are already
second one
starting to
with
get a bit
booze
bored.
doors not gone too well. I
Mm.
mean, it's done all right. Booze door. It's not done majorly, but the pencils, I reckon they'll be all right. I
I
reckon
think the
they'll be all
pencils
right.
will do better than Booze Door.
And the thing is, if you buy the drop for 30, 40 gems, and then that grants you the pencil, right? You literally go for one because you know you're only getting one pencil. I mean, at the end of the day, if that pencil is worth 20, 30 gems, 40 gems, you've still gonna make profit along that way. Even if you've done what I've done today, lost 5 gems on Elsa,
Yeah,
I've still probably gained myself 20 gems, 25 gems if I was to sell it. And then at the
yeah.
same time, because I want to craft it, how much of them pencils it's safer to have the
But
pencils
see,
right
even with
now
the
than it is.
crafting, even since they've started crafting, this is what the third crafting event that they've done.
Yeah,
In 3, it's already evolved 2 times. I mean, like the first one, you had to take all your collectibles and burn them and craft them into the gauntlet. Second one didn't work that way. Second one was
the
you
potion.
burn that collectible and there was only one collectible, right? Booze Door,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the
And you
potion
burn
was
that
before
collectible to
that
get
as
something
well.
that goes with a collectible from another set, right?
Yeah,
So that's different from the first one already. And now we've got a third one that's completely different. This is you get an airdrop over 5 different drops of 5 different sets. Each one will have an airdrop that goes with it. And that's what you see. They're already, even with this, they're experimenting with different ways to do the crafting.
do you want to know what the
And
worst thing is about all that? I would have
what's that?
brought the next 3 drops anyway
Yeah,
without the crafting. No,
yeah, but
oh,
the point is that they're putting out the feelers to see what works best, and they're really developing a system of how to do the crafting. And I like to see that they're paying attention to how things went, what people thought of it, what the results were, and sort of adapting to test out new ideas concerning that as well.
yeah,
No, I
definitely
think
be
that
some great
they're really
improvements.
putting their heads down and trying to give us what we've been asking for.
Do you ever think we'll get any sort of crafting for the golden moments
No,
now that the additions look massive?
no, I don't think so. The
Yeah,
initiatives look
I
massive for
agree. I
now,
must admit.
but listen, if it comes down to this, like we've said before, if you don't believe that VV is going to get enough growth for those addition sizes to look small, then you might as well get out
That
because
is
this
the
is as
other
good as it
way.
gets.
That is the other way. That is
You
a
know
good
what I
way
mean?
of looking at it, I must admit. That is a
But that's
great
just the
way of
truth,
looking
man.
at it.
If you don't think that VV is ever going to get to a point where those are going to be sought after because there's just too many of them, then it's already game over and we've already reached the peak. That's just you know.
But
So if you're still here, then you must believe that
it
we're
was
going to get
always
that
like
kind
a
of traffic.
5-year plan for me. And I think it was for everyone else, but along the
Yeah,
way they
that's what they
dropped
all
off.
said. They said 3 to 5 years, not even 3 years in yet, and half of them have
Yeah,
jumped
well,
ship.
there you go. Yeah. And then there's crypto toys and everything else that's jumped on.
From what I've heard, Cryptoys is a really, really, really great project. I just don't really like the NFTs themselves, so I don't
Yeah.
buy it. But I've been watching Superstar Money talk about them, and they've got nothing but good things to say about every member of the team of Cryptoys, the way they're rolling their stuff out, and all of that. So good luck to them, man.
I mean, I spoke to two of the team on Doctor Strange's birthday bash stream. That was a good stream as well. That was a proper quality stream. I mean, they were nice people and everything, but for me, I felt a bit odd because I'm not a crypto toys person right now. When they get a market, that's when I'm willing to join. I don't know. The market is the game for me, even though the money normally stays. Well, it's always stayed in the app. I've never took anything out yet, and it just
Hmm.
goes into other items. It's just a game. It's just fun.
Yeah,
I like being able to make some gems, knowing I made some gems and sold at the right time or brought at the right. That's bobsales, you know. That's what I've always done in my physical life with
wheeler dealer.
hoovers and statues and toys and
I'm the same, mate. Wheeler dealer.
yeah. Hence the yellow van,
Hence the what?
the yellow van on
The yellow van. Yeah,
the
yeah,
thumbnail
yeah.
now.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I would like to sort of branch out into other NFT projects. But as far as these sort of collectibles and things go, I think I'm pretty much just going to sort of stick with veve. I have been sort of getting more interested in music NFTs lately, though. Came across this guy called Song a Day Man,
Right.
and I discovered him on Twitter. He does a new song every day, records a new song every day, mints them as NFTs. It's all, most of it's about Web3 stuff, not always, but
Yeah.
and
I've
it can be
never
quite funny.
seen
And
that.
man, cool tracks. He does a new one every day, sells them as NFTs. And I've got another friend from Australia who said she's going to be launching a music NFT project soon. So I'm starting to get pretty intrigued by that, and I'm getting a little bit impatient to hear about. That's another thing I wanted to talk about is what I would like to hear about in this AMA that's coming up with David. I want to hear timelines on new verticals for a start.
Oh, don't do timeline.
No, but come on, like 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, like is this still happening?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because at one point they did say about the music or having a jukebox. Then we had the rabbit breeding thing, and obviously that's probably never going to happen now.
It is getting a bit stale, and the thing is, we already know that there's supposed to be more coming. Everybody sort of like talks about this is a grail and that's a grail. No, this is a grail to comic book guys.
Yeah,
That's a grail to cartoon guys. That's like when if veve wants to come out and do all of the things they want to do, the sort of market, the repertoire of collectibles that we have on veve right now is only going to appeal to a very small percentage of the veve audience. If we're supposed to get sports and motor vehicles and music and all of this sort of stuff, then there's not really going to be that many people who care that much about Todd, like percentage wise as a ratio on veve. So I just want to know when we're going to start seeing these sort of things that appeal to other people, because like I said earlier, I mean, I think there's going to be a really big struggle to get comic book guys into digital collecting on veve. But if Taylor Swift releases an album on veve and 2 million people come onto veve to buy that, and then they go, oh wow, actually there's all this other cool stuff. I didn't realize I was into comic books until I saw like all this shit going on over here.
yeah.
And
Only
now
thing
then
is,
they're going to
yeah,
start buying
has to
those.
be someone good though, because do you remember the what are the things on Vivi? Are they Isazillas or something?
Oh, Illazillas, yeah,
Do you
yeah.
remember that was all linked? That was when they actually started their own NFTs after that. They had that music guy that went on Superstar Money. Do you remember? And it was
I,
big
I
hype
remember
at the
that
time
happening, but I
about,
don't remember who it was.
yeah, it was a big hype about he was gonna start like linking it to his concerts and stuff like that. It just all seemed a bit much to me. I must admit, and the NFTs themselves never did do well, like the second ones.
Yeah, but yeah, the point is, I mean, you get people. It's the people who aren't interested in Batman right now, who aren't interested in comic books, who aren't interested in Ultraman. I'd never heard of Ultraman before I came onto VV. Now, man, I'm well into Ultraman.
I never knew of Miles Morales
Loving it.
before I come into VV.
Yeah.
Never heard of Miles Morales ever.
See, I'd never heard of Tokidoki. That's my main collection, right? I came
Never
on
heard of
because,
Toki Doki. Now I've got two
uh,
little ones on the shelf, I think.
oh, nice. But
Yeah,
see,
I've got
that's it, man. You get 2 million Taylor Swift
a
fans in.
couple of little ones.
Yeah, I'm waiting for her to come on the app, man.
It's got that one. I've got 2 other ones up there.
And people will discover that stuff just by pulling them in. So we need these new verticals.
I've got a little.
Nice.
I've got this
Yeah, I
one.
found a shop here that sells
And I
that kind of
finally
stuff.
got a
Selling
Merma
Tokyo Doki.
Kerner.
Ah, nice. Yeehaw.
I got one of them on there.
Stellina.
I never did match. I think we actually have that one as well, didn't we?
Yeah, we got Stellina, yeah.
And we never got any of these little bear ones, though. I noticed that.
Oh,
I
man,
mean,
there's
these little
so
bear
much
ones,
Tokyo
they're
Doki
pretty
stuff
cool,
we don't
man.
have yet. There's
Yeah,
so much.
I think them ones would sell pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool. Where is it?
I'm buying everything Tokyo Doki.
I think that is pretty cool. I must admit.
Yeah.
They actually come out of a random box at the auction one day, and when I see them, I was over the moon. I was just like, "That's so crazy!" I was just like, they literally dropped on the app, and then a couple of days later, I found them in a random box. Never seen them in my life ever, and bought them at the auction. I was just like, "That's crazy."
Speaking of Tokyo Doki, I don't know if you saw that. There was a message going around. I don't know if it was from Instagram or from Twitter. I couldn't find it on his Twitter because he just basically on Simone Legno I'm talking about. On his Twitter, all you really see is just like Simone Legno posted something on Instagram. Simone Legno posted something on Instagram. And I don't use Instagram. So, but I did see something going around that was a message from Simone Legno saying that there's more Dragon Girls coming. And
No,
I'm pretty sure it was in relation to veve.
wonder if we'll get any
So
animated ones.
I don't know, but yeah, might want to start looking at picking up those season 1 Dragon Girls, man.
I started looking at the cars again. I must admit, since the
Yeah,
VV beta,
same.
'cause
I'm
cars,
gonna pick up some more cars.
because I started stacking them, and then I changed. I mean, the Lambos are still all cheap. They're all
They're
a
cheap.
lot of
They're cheap as
a lot of
anything.
them are so cheap. I mean, that should have been such a huge drop, and yet I don't understand how it's not really. I don't understand. I just don't. It's a Lambo, man.
It's a
Maybe it's the
sleeper.
engine. Maybe that's what it is.
I think it's the engine, and also I think it was a big problem for people that there was no detail on the bottom of the car.
Yeah, the bottom shit. It looks like a
I
Mac.
kind of made it look like a Matchbox car or something
Yeah.
like that.
I mean, you'd have
And I
probably
think that
been better to put, like what the Matchbox car has on the bottom, the date, the car
yeah,
manufacturer. You'd have probably been better if you'd have put that on the bottom of the car.
and sell it
That'd
as a toy Lambo,
instead of having just a plain bottom. You know what I mean?
mate. Partner up with Matchbox.
Yeah. Well, I think they've
That
already.
the
Who are
le-
they partnering with? And they with Crypto Toys, right? Oh no,
Are
that's
they? I didn't know
Mattel, isn't
that.
it? It's Mattel.
As Mattel, who's with Cryptoids,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think
But yeah,
they've
I'm going
got.
to start looking at.
think
I think we've still got time for the cars because I think it's when VV City releases in 5 freaking years that the cars are going to go up in value. I think.
like Alibaba, right? So what are they doing for Vivi? So at first, I thought it was going to be the new payout provider. I don't know why they got all pay, and like there was a lot of stuff to support that. They held a lot of money and a lot of companies and could support the payout process. And with their functions, they have all the functions ready and stuff. Now, a lot of people thought it was going to be the Vivi verse, right? But because we already had that kind of signed up with someone, I didn't think that was what it was. I thought it must be
Nor did I.
payout. Turns out it's not payout. So
I
is it?
think it's probably because they've probably got the same sort of plans as Amazon to open an NFT marketplace, and it's got to be, I would say, something to do with an NFT marketplace to be able to sell. No, but in that case, it would have to be interoperable, wouldn't it? I don't know. I mean,
It's like 1 year
that's what
they've
I'm
done.
praying for. I'm
1 year
praying
they've done
for
more
them to be able to.
transactions than Visa and Mastercard.
Huh?
1 year they actually done more transactions on their app than Visa and Mastercard. Well, that's how big they are.
Alibaba? Alibaba
Yeah,
is massive,
massive.
dude.
And then they've got the shops. I mean, even I looked on the shop the other day for something. I couldn't believe it when
Dude,
I
my
searched for
dad,
something and it popped up with Alibaba.
my dad was a bit of a wheeler dealer like you, right? Started always like businesses where he's, and he went back to the, basics of commerce: buy something cheap, sell it for more money. And he was crazy obsessed with Chinese culture. My stepmom's Chinese and all that, so I grew up with all that Chinese. All of that sort of stuff was always something that I was around. What Chinese people are using, the apps they're using, the culture, the sort of things that involved with their culture. So I understand how big Alibaba is. I would rather have a partnership with Alibaba than with Amazon, honestly, because that is tapping into the Asian market in a big way. I mean, it's a Chinese company.
Yeah,
And if you could get your stuff selling, well, best case scenario in my mind is that we are able to use the Alibaba marketplace to buy and sell NFTs
yeah.
through veve. It's a pipe dream, I know, but that's best case scenario for me. And doing that in China, condoned by the Chinese government, applying to Chinese regulatory rules
Yeah,
and all of that sort of stuff, being able to get into there, mate, forget it. It's a game over. Like,
definitely a big
we don't
company.
even need America after that.
Massive company, massive.
So yeah, I'm excited to see what that's about. But they don't actually have a deal yet. It was just a memorandum of understanding or something like that.
Yeah, but
Right.
normally in
So there's
their in
nothing
their
nothing
in their
binding.
country, that's basically a sealed deal. I
Yeah, I
read
know.
that in their country, it's basically a sealed deal to
Yeah,
them.
I'd rather have a deal with a fucking signature on
That's a better way to put it. Yeah, I must admit.
it.
Yeah, and then the other one, I've not even looked into that Vive one or Vive or whatever it is. I
Well,
must
that
admit,
they
I'm
look
not
pretty
even sure
impressive. I
what they
haven't done a
do.
deep dive, but they look pretty impressive as well. Anyway, look, teams moving forward, they're doing stuff, but they gotta let us know about Omi, man. People are
Yeah.
not happy.
Well, what do you reckon about Rise? Well, Reese, Rise, however you
I don't reckon
pronounce it.
anything about it. I think it's all just people. It's just the rumor mill. It's just
Because
the rumor mill. Just people whispering
did you
to each
notice
other.
though the last AMA, like they said everyone's names, but they didn't mention him.
Well, maybe he's left the company. Maybe he hasn't. Who cares? One way or the other. Really, I don't think so. I think it's pretty unlikely,
Well,
personally.
it's
But
like me. I said the same thing. I was like, look, me personally, I've never looked into it. I couldn't tell you whether he's done anything or whether he hasn't because I've never looked at Omi. It's not my thing. I still not even sure I believe in the Omi token, like ever believed in it, which is why I don't
well,
own
I
any.
did, but the changes they've made are ones that I find I understand why people are upset about it because I did. Omi was what got me into Vivi in the first place.
Yeah,
And it does upset me that they've we bought all this Omi uh, on the presumption that they were going to stick to the roadmap that they gave us, and then they changed one little thing, and then they changed another little thing, and then they changed it, and then it was supposed to be this for the app, and then we can't do that for the app anymore, and then there's the OUP, oh, but it's not the OUP anymore. Now it's a mix between the OUP and the MCP. It's just like, look, guys, you know,
and staking, and the fact that you can put it in the app, and
it's like
people
you
did
sold,
put
you
it in the
sold us a
app at
pet
one point.
cheetah, and now all the spots have fallen off it.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I've never. I don't know. I've never believed in it, and then I, I come in the opposite way. You see, so I didn't come in through Omi or nothing. I come in through Vivi, the app itself, and then 2 months later, I started seeing shit about Omi. I was just like, oh, was this actually a good idea? Because
yeah.
normally when it's got a coin linked to something, it's normally bad news. Like in my opinion, it's normally doesn't work out very well. And then as soon as I see that, I was just
Okay.
like, no, but I believe in the actual Vivi side of it rather than the Akomi Omi side, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, for me, I just, one of my mates had made a stack of money on Bitcoin. And I was like, man, I got to have a look at this crypto thing. So I just started looking at it and I was like, man, where do I even start? Like, how are there so many of these things, like cryptocurrencies? I didn't even realize there
Yeah.
were so many thousands of them. And like, where do I even start? And then, like, just out of nowhere, I fell on BitBoy's video about VV and Akomi. And I was looking for a crypto to invest in. I saw the stuff about Al Khan and all. I was like, man, for me as a collector, that was a no brainer. I was like, yeah, this is for real a thing. But then they just kept changing the way the OMI token is going to work. And so now I'm super bullish on the app, way less bullish on the OMI token.
Yeah.
I still hold OMI and I'm still looking to buy some more because I do think that it will go up in value. I no longer think it's going to go crazy the way I used to think. But going back to the Reese thing, I like what you said on the video the other day that, maybe he did sell some tokens, but they're his to sell, man. Like,
Yeah, exactly that. Even if you're giving them, they're still,
well, I would have to assume that if he was given those tokens, that he would have had to have been given those tokens like a
for a
long time
reason.
ago, and he's selling them at a massive loss compared to the time that he
I,
obtained them. I would
I
have to
think
assume.
I think the problem is like if you're selling them yourself, then that means you're not believing in them yourself, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense, and I get that. I
Maybe
mean,
that's the problem because they're thinking, well, if he's selling them, then they're obviously worthless because he sold
yeah, but
out.
maybe at the end of the day he'll regret it. Yeah, that's what I'm interested to know. Is he still on the team?
Yeah. Well, they
Well, let's
said they've
start with that.
hired more, but they didn't say about
Let's
sacking
start with
anyone.
that. Yeah, who
I
knows?
own I think I've got like 4,000 owe me. My collectibles giveaways.
I got 438,000 on the app,
Jesus.
and I had some on the exchange, but I sold it. But it's like, man, it's so cheap right now. I could just buy it, you know, whenever I want.
Yeah. Stay
Even if
away
it does
from
have a good pump, it's still, like back when I was buying it, it was close to 1 cent when I started buying it. Like I've got 438,000 Omi, right? If I had have never spent any money on Omi and you kept that money and bought it now, I'd probably have like good 3-4 million for the amount of money
Yeah.
I spent. I was buying it like right up the top.
Well, that's the funny thing, right? So if it does pay off in the end for everyone, my collectibles made people rich out here.
Yeah, yeah,
He was fuming
yeah.
with himself.
Yeah, I've got one of those drop heads to win the Omi, but I can never make it through streams, so I don't think I ever got any.
I've probably got about 30 now, drop heads.
That's not bad,
I've
man.
got quite a
Not
few,
bad.
and then I keep like I had a problem the other week when I tried to buy them. Bloody OpenSea problem, transferring money over because at one point you had to change it to Matic or Polygon Matic or something along them lines. It all gets a bit bloody blurry, but
Yeah.
one stage you had to buy it through Polygon, and then I don't know
Right.
where it changed along the line, but it
By
changed the way.
Omi through Polygon?
No, drop heads.
Ah,
And then
drop heads.
and then I
Ah,
don't know
okay,
where
okay,
it
okay.
changed, but then the other day I could pay with my credit card and stuff, and I was just like, "Hang about." So I transferred some money over, then had to transfer the money back to then pay for the thing because I
Yeah,
initially
right.
thought, "Well, I've got to pay for it out of this, so I'll just put the money into that." Transferred it over, cost me to do that. Then by the time I sent it back, I'd basically lost near enough
Yeah.
all the money.
Yeah, that's another thing buying NFTs like proper interoperable NFTs for OpenSea and all that is the gas fees you got to pay. You know, you
Yeah.
got to
Absolutely terrible.
sort of stuff.
I've never understood the fascination with OpenSea NFTs. I really haven't.
I have no interest in it. I think that all future platforms will be modeled off the VV template.
Yeah, 3D collectibles, digital
It's the only
collectibles.
way it's going to happen. Nobody
Yeah,
is.
no,
There
I
will
agree.
never ever be another NFT boom without that.
Well, I think out of everyone, if all the companies go down, I think it'll be Vivi that survives. So it's the
Yeah,
community keeps it alive, you know.
yeah. I'm excited for VVverse, man. I'm really
Yeah,
excited for VVverse.
I don't know whether they're going to waste their money or not. I don't know. When Disney closed theirs and then Facebook's got no end of money, it's just scaring me a bit. I've got a funny feeling it could be a
Yeah,
big money pit.
yeah.
I mean, I've got a funny feeling we're gonna get our little showroom bits, and that's gonna be
No,
ending.
I don't think so, man. Because no, I think I do still see a big future. I mean, uh, you look at games like GTA 5. I mean, the other metaverse we were looking at, Helix,
Helix,
and
yeah,
that sort of stuff. If they build out VV City in the same sort of way, where you've got like you've got little, we already know we're going to get little themed worlds on there. It looked like there was like a sort of CS:GO or a, like Fortnite world or
yeah,
something like that with a little battle royale, and then in the main like sort of like open world, you had the little mini games where you could win ETH and stuff like that.
yeah,
I think that it could be that there could be a big market for that because people love those kind of games. And this is that, but where everything in it is an NFT and you own it.
yeah,
And it's no longer just buying cosmetics and all that. I think that changes everything. And given that Vivi has all this huge IP, even if the gamers, the hardcore gamers, don't come to the Viviverse and they go to the Rockstar verse or whatever to play their GTA or whatever, the sheer amount of IP that we have in Vivi is enough to draw enough people to keep
yeah.
the user numbers up. I hope
And
that's
that's
what
the
we're all
thing.
hoping
There's
for.
some like you can literally scroll through the VV app, and there's gonna be something for everyone. Like
Yeah,
you're at least gonna find one thing that you're gonna have to buy because
and
you
if they do the
remember it
VV
from.
verse right at the moment, I mean, people are going to be disappointed. People are going to moan, "Oh, it's just a room and all that." But when they build out VV City, which is we're originally the original timeline was for Q4 this year. Now,
Yeah,
obviously, that's never going to happen. It's going to be well after that.
nowhere near.
But if they were optimistic enough, like halfway through next year, to say that they were going to have that done and ready to roll out by Q4 of this year, that means work has to have already started on this. This isn't just a concept; they've already been working on this. They have to have.
Was like Alibaba. They got like great metaverse capabilities, but if you've already hired Cavendish, you're not just going to switch it, are you? You're just not. I wouldn't have thought
Yeah, I don't. I don't
unless
think that
there's been
Alibaba is about
problems
that. No, I think Alibaba is something else. I think it's
onboarding,
got to do something to do with marketplaces, man.
just
Because
the
I know that China
onboarding
is
I would have
hardcore
thought.
getting
Yeah,
into the idea of NFT marketplaces.
yeah,
So I think
maybe
it's got
that's
to have
what it
something to do with
is.
that. That's what I'm
Yeah,
praying
because
for.
Well, I thought the same thing. I thought, why would you switch unless there was a big problem with Cavernous? Like maybe they're actually the delays.
And
Maybe,
Cavernous looks
maybe,
quite impressive. I don't
maybe
think
they
that
switched
it's
it because of that reason.
yeah, man,
So I
you
don't
know what?
know.
I tend to think the same way as you. I think it's unlikely that they that they moved away from Cavernous. Because I mean, Cavernous has got some really great partnerships too, and when you look at what they've
Yeah,
done, it's an impressive company. I don't see any reason why you would step away from them.
the comics and cryptos, right? Have you ever seen their posts about the old videotapes and the PS1 games and stuff like that?
I saw something once, I think, about old PS1 games or something.
Yeah, because
No, I
like,
think it was VHS tapes.
yeah,
Something.
sometimes they like, I don't know why, but they seem to have a thing where they buy old VHS tapes and then try to sell them on in the marketplace. Now, I'm not sure if they actually make any sales or not, but they tend to like send them off and get them graded and stuff like that.
That's not a bad shout, actually.
But I can't see it myself. Every time I just can't see it.
I can, because imagine that, right? I mean, like, how easily does a VHS tape degrade?
Yeah, and most
If
people
you've
throw
got
them
one that's
away.
in perfect order, right? I
Most
mean,
people don't
you
have
know,
them about
I
anymore.
think they're right. I wouldn't be selling them on if I was them. I'd be hodling those.
Because imagine most of them being in the bin, right? When you got DVDs, most of them went to
Most of them
charity
would be
shops or they went
ruined.
in
Yeah,
bins. Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. Because
Yeah, they'd be
I've
in
got
bargain
loads.
bins.
I got loads stacked at my dad's, and I'm always looking at them thinking it's not possible.
Well, if they're in rubbish condition, I don't think they'd be worth much. But pristine, I think that they could probably be
Because
worth a lot.
I got a lot of like the old Turtles cartoons and like Pinocchio, light up Pinocchio box. I really got to check that box because that's a really neat box.
Yeah. I think it's going to take a long time before they're really worth a lot of money. But I do think that at one point, if they do become collector's items, stuff that we just throw away like it was nothing could
Well,
actually gain a lot of
it's
value.
like the PS1 games. My dad used to take them to the car boot sale all the time, which is basically a flea market to
Yeah, yeah,
Americans, right? So they
yeah.
take them to a car boot sale all the time, and then obviously he was selling them for I think £1 a time. These PS1 games, and at this time I think there was a PS4, and I was telling him that, Dad, mate, it's time to redo your stock. Like they're no good to anyone. No one wants them anymore, right? But a couple of years down the line, I've then gone back to the house. And I was like, Dad, have you got any games left? And they've
Well,
like
mate,
emptied the garage and now got like hundreds of PS1 games. I'm looking at the prices, it's 10, £15, 25 quid, £10. And I'm like, how the hell did that happen? My dad's
dude,
sitting there
I wanted
laughing.
to go pick up just a cheap console because my daughter doesn't have a console, and I can't afford to get a PS5 right now. But I wanted to just go pick up like a cheap one. I went to a pawn shop, a second-hand shop, and like they're selling like Super Nintendos for like 100,
Oh,
$150.
yeah, they are.
Like, how's a
Yeah.
Super Nintendo $150
Even the
second hand?
N64s, you know, the N64s with GoldenEye and stuff.
Yeah,
Even they're about 100 quid now. And at
man, I want
one point, I could pick them up at a car boot sale for 15 quid with loads of games,
easy,
loads of controls. And
easy,
now it's just going to be crazy because even I noticed that.
exactly. And man, try and get a copy of Mario Kart 64. You know, the original Mario Kart.
Yeah,
If you can
it's
find it, you're
60
going to be
quid.
paying at least $100.
Yeah, it's the same as Grand Theft Auto. I think I brought Grand Theft Auto for the PS1 not long ago, and I think it cost me 35 quid. And it's PS1 Grand Theft Auto where it's like helicopter view, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. The
Yeah,
old one. Yeah,
I
yeah.
was playing that the other week. Wicked. It was still wicked. It was still able to play it. Get a bit dizzy after a while
But
because
yeah, I
obviously
can
it's
see
little
that with
screen.
VHS tapes. If they're in good condition, like getting it graded, man, good on them. I might
See,
take them up on
I
that. I
always
might
looked at
become
it,
competition for
but
that.
when I see some of the prices they're putting out, I was like, man, I can't see anyone paying 40 grand for a VHS tape. That's
Not 40 grand,
I
no,
just
but
can't see it.
maybe a couple $100.
If you got a statue and it's mint 51, do you reckon it should be on the bottom like a plaque?
What do you mean bottom plaque?
So, do you reckon like if you put it in there should be a way of making a plaque so you can put it on the front of your collectible,
Ah,
like a
yeah, yeah.
mint
I
number?
think that like that was one of the things I'm glad they changed with the OMI utility program, right? When they rolled out the first OUP, there was stuff like renting collectibles, but you had to have a certain amount of OMI stake to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was in there was that like if you wanted to display your mint numbers, you had to have a certain amount of OMI staked to do that. I was like, come on, man. Nah,
That's
nah, nah. With the
yeah.
premium we pay for the mid numbers we want, you have to make that free for everyone. You can't
That's
do
the
that.
other thing. They can't make it too inclusive. They can't
Mm,
like, you know, close off
exclusive,
certain
yeah.
features for people.
Mm.
So I
No, I
can
think that
see
we should.
some.
I think we should automatically be able to display our min numbers with no conditions, no walls, none of that stuff.
I see a bit of an argument about that on Twitter actually. Some guy was saying that he brought like 100 secret rares or something. All of the prices were like 400-500 gems he paid, and he's saying that he should be entitled to get certain utilities because of that. And they don't buy them anymore now. They're worth 30 gems, but obviously he's willing to pay 500 for them, so he's just an idiot.
Well,
But
that's just. I mean, doing that, you made a choice, mate. No, come on,
but it was just
don't
like,
cry about it now.
really? And he was just like, well, we should be entitled to more because we've invested more money.
Well,
It's like, well,
look,
it takes
should
everyone. Like,
I don't like that word should. You know, there's a lot of that going around like I deserve this. You
yeah,
know, we're owed that. I should this, they should this, and that, blah, 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 blah. However, I would say I would like to see that implemented. They already have the extra MCP points if you have mint numbers in the bottom 5% of mints. You get extra MCP points for it, right? But I want to
well, in
see.
theory.
I think, well,
They
yeah,
still
in
don't add up.
theory, we don't know. But you know, I'd like to see that kind of program for other mint numbers. Like, I mean, my Toki Dokis are palindromes. I'd like to see if you've got a full set of palindromes that you get some sort of advantage to that, or you know, mirror mints or stuff like that that people collect, or if you've got a set of matching mints, right? So you've got like, I don't know, all of the frozen drop, and they're all matching mints. Maybe you get something for holding sets like that. That's another thing that I would really like to hear about in the roadmap, which I asked William May to ask David about when we can sell as sets. I mean, there's a collector's app, right?
Yeah,
Now,
no, I like that idea. It's a good
a
idea
collector's app where we put a lot of
because
weight. This is something that came from the community
some
that we put
people,
all that weight on the mint numbers. But one
yeah,
of the things that's important is getting matching mint sets and stuff like that. But how are you supposed to sell that as a matching mint set? Or you're just going to go to
yeah,
3 different people. You got to split it up.
yeah. You got to list it at a certain time in the app or something stupid, and
Yeah,
hope for the best.
and hope that person's able to snag all 3
Yeah.
before one of them gets bored up. You know, keep
Hopefully,
in
I'll have
touch.
you on again soon. Anyway.
Always, always,
Alright.
always ready for it, man. Next time I'll have more structured talking points. But I think we covered a few cool things in here.
Well, I think it was the best way. I mean, we ain't had a catch up for a while, so it's nice to have the
Yeah,
catch up. You know what I mean? As always, I've been your host, Bob Sales. This time next year, we will be millionaires. A peace.
have a good one. See ya.
Good dog, good family. Hold on to him tight. Get a little homesick for a while, better get over it. See you later, lads. See you, boss.
All right, Mickey. Laters. Oh, you see what all the fuss is about? That ain't bad, fellas. Sorry, Mickey. Just give us our money back and you can keep your caravan.
Why the fuck do I want a caravan? It's got no fucking wheels.
Thank you, Dukkencuvva, for the time. Absolutely great guest. Good laugh like always. As always, I've been your host, Bob Sales. This time next year, we will be millionaires. A peace.